Welcome back to How Will I Book 2019 pay-per-views. Now we head to the party of the summer. Next up it's Money in the Bank. 1. The Spice Girls vs. Brooke Vincent for the United States Championship. Brooke Vincent turned her rematch at Money in the Bank. But at the end, Brooke Vincent manages to defeat Spice Girls to win her first US title. 2. Five vs. No Authority in a prison match. No Authority cost 5 during his match against Byron Saxton. But however, due to the interference and a help from Shane McMahon, No Authority has escaped their prison to win their match. 3. Forde vs. Georgia Prescott for the Cruiserweight Championship. That should be in the 20 minutes later. This match ends with Forde retains. 4. Little Mix vs. Shane McMahon. Little Mix gets their punishment from No Authority by having No Authority to force Little Mix to have their match against him. But however, at 10 seconds, Shout Out to My Ex is enough to win for Little Mix. 5. Backstreet Boys vs. Britney Spears for the Universal Championship. Britney gets drafted to Raw, and she won the #1 contenders match against Tara Hawat. I would have Backstreet Boys retains the Universal title, but then after the match, Boys and Britney shake hands as a sign of their respect. 6. Katie Forde vs. Bethany Platt for the WWE Championship. Bethany Platt turned heel at the episode of SmackDown. But after the 15 minutes match, Katie Forde was managed to retain her title. Last, it's a 8-man spelling bee match. The contestants will be at the spelling bee are the returning Mandy Moore, Beth Lavin, Faye Wills, Tyra Hawat, Intercontinental Champion Ed Sheeran, Brooke Nile, Anna Garrett, and John Cena. But in the shocking, scary ending finish moment during that match, Barney returns and wins the spelling bee. Next up it's Stomping Grounds. 1. I-5 vs. Bethany Platt and Mandy Moore. I think this should be a great match. But however, Bethany Platt and Mandy Moore was able to cheat it to win. 2. The Spice Girls vs. Beth Lavin for the United States Championship. Beth Lavin was never held the US title at the Future. But in the end, Beth Lavin ends up winning the match to win her first US title. 3. The Palmers vs. Catherine Park and Amy Eakin for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Catherine and Amy has never held the tag titles yet. But I would have Ryan and Jay Palmer win with the heel tactics by retaining their SmackDown tag titles. 4. Little Mix vs. Faye Wills. No Authority will be in Faye Wills' corner during the match. The match ends with Little Mix winning. 5. Katie Forde vs. The Miz in a steel cage match for the WWE Championship. The Miz earned a rematch at Stomping Grounds. But in the end, finally is enough to win for Katie Forde as she retains. And last, Backstreet Boys vs. Tara Hawat for the Universal Championship. Tara Hawat earned her rematch at Stomping Grounds. But in the end, everybody Backstreet's back is enough to win for Backstreet Boys as they retain their Universal title. Next up it's Extreme Rules. 1. Little Mix and Mario vs. Faye Wills and No Authority in a penalty pot counters match. I think should be a great 10 minutes match. But I would have Faye Wills and Mario to win clean. I mean, Little Mix. 2. Emma and Nicola vs. DJ Luck and MC League for the Raw Tag Team Championships. This match will end their rivalry. But it isn't enough to finish the tag titles reigns yet as Emma and Nicola retains. 3. Hattie Greenwood vs. Colleen Ballinger. They had a 5-minute match. But in the end, £16.99 is enough to win for Hattie Greenwood. 4. Lucy Cardiff vs. Byron Saxton in an executed match. This may end their rivalry. But I would have Lucy Cardiff to win to end her rivalry. 5. The Palmers vs. I5 vs. Catherine Park and Amy Eakin for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Since Katie Forde is the WWE Champion, I would have I5 to win the SmackDown Tag titles. But something good is Katie Forde will happen later. 6. Beth Lavin vs. Britney Spears for the United States Championship. Britney Spears turned heel to align herself with Sharon and Kim. But however, due to the distraction from Sharon and Kim, Britney Spears ends up winning her second US title reign. 7. Bethany Platt vs. The Miz. Bethany Platt finally turns face again to target No Authority. But in the 10-second match, No Way is enough to win for Bethany Platt. 8. Katie Forde vs. the Spice Girls for the WWE Championship. This end match with Katie Forde retaining her WWE title. Last, Backstreet Boys vs. Tara Hawat for the Universal Championship. But Backstreet Boys will end up retaining their title to end their rivalry, but they're not able to leave with the Universal title, because Barney cashed in the Spelling Bee trophy and wins the Universal title once again. Now we're in SummerSlam. 1. Hulk Hogan vs. The Miz. Hogan challenged Miz into the match, which Miz accepts. But in the end, Atomic Leg Drop is enough to win for Hogan. 2. Britney Spears vs. Beth Lavin for the United States Championship. Beth Lavin earned the rematch at SummerSlam. But I would have Britney Spears retain due to Sharon and Kim's help. 3. Bethany Platt vs. No Authority. If Bethany Platt loses, she will be banned from everything including WWE. But it will not happen, as Bethany Platt will win the match. 4. Katie Forde vs. John Cena for the WWE Championship. This should be a 10-minute match. But unfortunately, the match will end with the double escape. This may continue their rivalry. 5. Ed Sheeran vs. Dave Ferguson. Dave Ferguson returns as a heel after Extreme Rules. But I would have Ferguson win by cheating. Last, Barney vs. Backstreet Boys for the Universal Championship. Backstreet Boys had earned their rematch at SummerSlam. In the end, Backstreet Boys has managed to regain their Universal title yet again.